Hey everybody, it's Kyle,
And it's Christina.
and this is the CP Chronicles. Wow, 2022 is here. Sorry we've been gone. Um, Hectic, but we are back. Thank you for joining us on Facebook Live and Disability Global Broadcasts. We appreciate you being here. Christina, do you want to start us off? I know we were kind of wondering what should we do for our first show of 2022, and we thought, well, why don't we introduce the new year first show with some goals that we have for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the start of any year, thinking about your goals is a good way to start. But we do have to be careful that those goals are actually things that we are going to follow up on. I mean, I know typically most resolutions by the end of January are down the drain. So I had sat and really thought about some reachable goals for the new year, and kind of some steps to get to those.
Hi,
So
Cindy. Hi, Nikki. Thanks for joining us. If you guys have goals that you want to share with us in the comments, we will happily read them on air. But my one of my big goals that I'm trying to make realistic and manageable is to avoid burnout because I kind of hit a very big wall at the end of 2021 with advocacy. I do I did weekly YouTube videos and it was all about CP. And I got to a point where I just didn't want to talk about CP anymore or didn't know what to talk about. But I also felt like my entire YouTube channel was based on CP, and I didn't know how to share anything else other than that.
right, and
I kind of,
that's a good way to get burnout in itself when it has to be one topic and you feel like you can't diversify it past to that.
yeah, I felt kind of stuck. Like I didn't know, like I felt like I was kind of two people. The person who loves to advocate. It's why I love doing the show. It's why I like making YouTube videos about it. But I
Right,
felt like the switch got stuck and that's all I could do. That's all I could talk about. And it's like, well, I don't know what to talk about anymore at this point. And I felt like there's two people, that advocate and then the other me that it's everything else. That's the
right.
daily, you know, going through day by day, going to work, hanging out with friends, doing all that stuff. But I didn't know how to meld those two versions of me together. So I did take a slight break, about a month actually. But now a fellow disability advocate, Zach Anner, has made a challenge to come up with a reason a day why you think you're an awesome person for every day of 2022. So today is uh, would be day 15, and my reason for today is that I never give up on myself. I may struggle and it may get hard and I may want to stop, but I'm always trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. Um, and it's been kind of cool to I post those on YouTube. They're just like at max a minute clip, and it's just like, why do I think I'm awesome today? And one
Those
of
are
it's like,
cool.
I am not afraid to have my knee. Well, when she actually is able to put actual makeup on. Right now, she's doing pretend makeup, and I'll let her pretend like she's putting lipstick on me and eyeshadow, and she'll paint my nails with water. So I know it's only a matter of time before it's real makeup, but it's just been nice as a way to like share another side of me or more sides to me in little spurts like that. Um, we'll see how long I make it. I hope to make it all the way to day 365, but I don't know how awesome, coming up with a reason a day why what you like
And
about
I think
yourself.
you make a good point that it's important to appreciate those qualities in ourselves, because I think a lot of times we are our own worst critics in a lot of aspects. So thinking about the positives, the things that we like about ourselves is definitely a good way to start a year with some positive vibes and positive energy. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes there's things that I don't like about myself, and those are the things I'm more likely to think about first
Mm-hmm.
instead of those positive things. Has that been like a shift for you? Have you found that
Oh,
it's
oh
hard?
yes. I feel like my days are getting better in just like the mental feeling good about myself because like Friday was a very difficult day for me, but then which would have been yesterday, and then it was like, so why do I think I'm awesome? And I came up with a reason, after this bad day, and it's like, you know what, that's good.
Right.
It helped me shift my focus. Christina, you and I had a conversation all about it, but then it really did help me, like, okay, like I had this little moment, and now like what do I like about myself? And it really helped me
To pull yourself
kind of.
out of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anyone, you do not have to post it on like TikTok, social media, or anything like that, but I would encourage you to attempt to come up with something that you like about yourself and see how it helps, because I'd love to know, because so far for me, it's working.
Oh, that's really, really awesome. I hadn't heard about that challenge, but I have to say, I also am a big fan of Zach Anner. So if y'all
Well,
haven't seen his stuff, please go check him out. He is so funny on YouTube.
well, and I just so happened to see he did a short, like the short little video like I did, it like what his first day would be, and I had happened to see it, and I was like, you know what? I like that. I want to try it. Like I don't know, I don't know if there's 365 things I like about myself, but hopefully I'll discover those things, as we
As
go
you
through the
know,
year.
yeah, and then try not to repeat is going to be the issue. Oh my
Right.
gosh, we have so many friends viewing today, guys. I just wanted to say hi to all of you, Nikki and Cindy and Justin.
And
Jeffrey's here,
Josh
Andy's here, Lena and Josh. Oh my gosh, thanks for watching, guys. Actually, what I'd like for you guys to do, since Kyle was talking about his reasons he's awesome challenge, challenge yourself here to let us know why you're awesome, and we'll highlight that in the comments throughout the show. I think that would be really cool. So let us know. Cindy was talking about her goal for the year, and she went ahead and shared that with us in the comments here. Her goal is about being a little bit healthier in this new year, and I think after the cookie eating over the holidays, I can echo that as well. Just making sure that I am enjoying those things, in small doses. And for me, one of my goals is to not let that kind of need for enjoyment of food, not letting it get in the way of the fact that I still have some fitness goals that I want to crush, and trying to balance all of that. So
yeah, finding balance is hard, and that's it. I'm still working on the physical side, but then I realized, with that mental block of like, who am I? It was like I need to focus on my mental health, which is why when I saw this challenge, it was like, oh, that's a really good way to get me out of this like weird funk that I'm in. And it's something that's easy. And I think that's something that should be a focus of some of your goals is, can I do this every day? Is it something I want to do every day? I
is
mean,
it
you
something
don't want to
that's a
make goals that are too hard, because
yeah,
then if you don't see any progress or you don't feel good about doing it, then you won't.
right? Well, and I think the important thing too about goals is you have to actually think about how you're going to get there. Setting this lofty goal for yourself and having no plan to get there is not going to be a good way for you to be successful. Um, in
Oh,
me.
we already have some awesome comments.
Yeah, I was just
Pun intended. Pun intended,
I was
everyone.
pausing mid sentence because I can't multitask and talk and read sometimes at the same time, which is probably a problem for a teacher. But sorry, y'all. Nikki says she's awesome because she's a social butterfly, and we would agree. You absolutely
Yes.
are a
Keep it
social
up, Nikki.
butterfly. Andy says I enjoy helping people who are sometimes overlooked. Yeah, I know Andy, has been in some caregiver positions over her last several years, and she really enjoys, helping out other people. And I do think that makes Andy really awesome because that's not something that's for everybody. But kudos to anybody in that kind of business right now because those types of caretaker positions are definitely needed. Everybody deserves, that kind of support when they need it. So.
And I will say, I am a direct support professional for those with intellectual and physical disabilities. And I will say, having a physical disability myself, that being able to be that mental support for some of those that I work with is really rewarding, and making their day better does give me a sense of like joy and fulfillment, and like this is what I'm supposed to do. So when you find those things, and I'm sure like when you discovered that you wanted to be a teacher, that like it just it just like feeds your soul.
Right. And when it fits, it's another thing that just, helps to make you feel awesome about yourself because you're doing something that makes you happy and you're helping others along the way.
Oh, I see. Justin
Just,
has a goal as well with you.
I can highlight the right one. The comments are just coming in here, guys. Justin says my goal is to be a better me.
I love that goal because that's kind of the same goal I have. I feel like we're all three very similar in that way. We're all just trying to be the best versions of ourselves, as opposed to I'm not trying to be Christina because like I can't be. I can't be Justin either.
You're Kyle,
So yeah.
gotta be
So
Kyle. Yeah, we've had that. We've had those discussions before too. It's really easy to compare and say why me or yada yada yada, but really the goal should always be just to be the best version of yourself.
well, and somebody actually told me on TikTok, because what I do is I make the short clips on TikTok and then just upload them to YouTube. But somebody on TikTok was like, wow, like so many people like judge you, but like if they just listen to you, like they could get some really good advice. And my response to that comment was, I'm not meant for everyone. Not, so whoever this reaches, I hope that it helps. And that's why I do it. I'm not trying to like gain massive amounts of followers or anything like that. But if I can help somebody have a more positive mindset by like, I don't want to gloat when I'm saying, why do I think I'm awesome? It's not for that. It's just to encourage people to look at, what do you look like about yourself, and, remind people that we all have good things about us. So
Right. It's not just for followers, like you said, it's for your own mental health and it's to hopefully show others, that they can find the positives in them too. Absolutely. Josh says he's awesome because he tries to spread the importance of self-defense for people with disabilities every day, which I think is super duper awesome. Because I myself, if I ever do get back to traveling again, I would actually love to sort of catch up with you, Josh, and get some self-defense tips because I think that's something that everybody can have in their arsenal at one point or another, but especially if you're going to be traveling, it's helpful.
And I see Lena has a really nice comment as well.
Lena says, I'm going to continue giving people words of wisdom. As you both know, my life is changing for the better. It's getting better each minute of my day. And, Lena, I have to say, like, those words of wisdom, you are so wise. Lena is the type of friend that just always, knows like what to say and how to be there for people. And that's
It's like a warm hug.
yeah, it's a rare thing in a person. So just keep doing what you're doing, Lena. All of our best wishes for everybody up here in 2022. It's the first couple of weeks have been interesting, I think. I mean, I had to chuckle the other day when I saw on Facebook, yeah, I've tried out my 7-day free trial of 2022 and I'd like to cancel. And I just laughed to myself and I said, oh, I kind of feel that today. But, we take each week as it comes, and we can only hope that the year continues to improve as it goes. So
yeah, because all this positivity that we're trying to spread here isn't to say that there aren't going to be rough days. It's just to remember that you're not going to stay there.
right, you don't have to. Not every day has to be a rough day. You're gonna have some in there somewhere, but you got to try to remember to not let it like suck the happiness out of all the other good days that you have as the year goes on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the comments are blowing up over here. And we appreciate it because I was like, people are going to wonder, we have been gone for a month. Like, who's going to watch us? That was in the back of my head. So to have it be the opposite is like very reassuring.
Yeah, I said to myself, am I going to even know what to say? Am I going to trip over my own words? We haven't done this in a month. How did that happen? We just ended up taking this ginormous hiatus. But we're happy to be back, and we're glad to have you all here watching. Justin says it's about finding a way to be more comfortable in your skin each day. I really like that. I think, starting the new year out feeling positive about yourself is really the way to go. And Josh says that's all you can do when you post online, Kyle, is hope you could just reach one person. I kind of feel that way for our radio show. We might not be for everybody, and some people might watch and others may not, but we hope that we can reach somebody with a similar experience, just to help them out in whatever life situation they might find themselves in.
Because sometimes all you need to keep going is to realize that someone else is going through the same thing. Like when you're going through a rough patch, it can feel very lonely. So that's why either through a YouTube video, this radio show, a TikTok, just trying to show people like you are not alone and you are going to get through this. That's all I want, really.
Yeah. I'm going to totally agree with that. It totally is a super awesome and almost changes you when you find out like there's somebody else out there that is having the same struggle. There's somebody else that knows what it feels like, because when you can't find those people, it's when you tend to struggle with the situation.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. One of my other ones from the other day was like, I'm awesome because I'm realizing like you're not a burden to ask for help. And that's the whole point of asking for help, is to use the support system that you build around yourself. If you have support system but you don't use it, why is it really there? Like
right. And I think we have to pick and choose, there are times where we want to do things on our own, but you're absolutely right. There are times when we need to lean on that support system because that's what it's there for.
Oh, Cindy has another comment as well.
Cindy says she had a rough start to her year. She says, I definitely hope the year improves since these last 2 weeks have been the pits for me.
I hope so, Cindy.
Yeah, I hope so too. Cindy's had some, well, if it's all right that we tell everybody, Cindy's had some falls, CP problems. And it's been a little bit rough for Cindy lately. So just, keep her in your thoughts and we're rooting for you too, Cindy, that things improve for you. I know life with CP can be predictable or unpredictable, and sometimes it's rough. So
Yeah, that's the only predictable thing about CP is that it's unpredictable and you don't know what it's going to do by the day. That's why I think just reminding yourself of what you do like about yourself when you are struggling, it just, it's like that lifeboat. You're sinking, let's get in that lifeboat and move on. Because no time for a pity party. Well, there's time for a quick pity party. There's no time for...
Yeah, you just don't want to camp out there for too long. So we'll keep on, talking about these, why we think we're awesome. So if anybody else hasn't dropped those in the comments, please go ahead and do so. Let us know why you think you're awesome. I did want to jump back to goals a little bit, just so we have a chance to talk a little bit more about those and kind of the things that we have planned for ourselves.
Yes, because I know you have some big fitness goals, so go ahead and share that.
Oh, I was going to toss it to you, but all right.
Okay, we could toss it to me, whatever you want. One of my goals, like, yes, I did get my driver's license last year, huge win for me, but there's still moments where I'm like, oh, this is, different. Like, I'm just not completely comfortable with it yet. That's a big goal, is to just finally like let go of some of that, more of that fear. I don't know. And fitness is still a big part. I have to say, like, towards the end of 2021, I hurt my neck. Don't really know how. And it took me off a week of exercise. And that kind of really slowed me down quite a bit, in the sense of like, okay, now I have to get back into the routine. And that process has been a little bit slower than I would like to admit. But fitness is definitely still something I hope to enjoy. I'd really like to get my challenge of the Grand Canyon done this year. It was supposed to be done the first of this year, but it's not done yet. 280 miles of biking on the stationary bike. Didn't happen how I originally envisioned it, but it's still happening. It's just happening slower. So hopefully that's something that I will check off the list.
I have no doubt that you'll do it. So keep at it.
Thank you. And I don't know. Just I want to have. I feel like this is, I don't know, a small goal, but I just want to have fun. Like, I want to enjoy this year. I feel like between 2021 and some of 2020 and 2021, I still feel like I don't know, want to have a little bit more fun, or like experience more, if that makes sense. Like, things I haven't done yet. And I don't really know what that is at the moment, of like specific things, but just like live life a little more, in the sense of like
just getting out of your comfort zone, trying new things. Like, that's not a bad way to start out a new year, and say that you want to experience some things that you haven't experienced before. I mean, as those things come up, you can see something and say, oh, hey, that's something I want to add to that goal. You don't have to have all of the specifics worked out right away.
Yeah, and that has been hard for me in the past. I'm trying to just let things be what they are and see but like, I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Which is important, but then it's like, you don't have to have a set amount of goals. It's just like whatever pops into your head, and you don't even have to start it in the new year. A goal can pop up in June and be like, okay, I want to try and see how far I can get there.
Yeah, goal setting is important at any point in your life, for you to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. It doesn't always have to happen in December and January. That's a good point to make as well.
So we'll see. And maybe just, I'm hoping I don't know if any of my employers are watching or will see this, but hoping I'll get to be full-time at some point this year. We'll see.
We'll cross our fingers, but not our toes, because we have CP and we can't do that. No.
Yeah, just hoping, and more so with the full-time, just being a little bit more financially secure than I have been before, and really trying to set the stage for 27, lots of life to live. There's things I want to do in terms of like, I do rent a house, but I do want to eventually get a new house. And I love my grandpa's car, but I don't know if it's a goal for this year, but down the road, I'd like to get a new car and things like that. So financial stability is definitely one of the first steps to those types of things. So we'll see. And I don't necessarily need to be complete with any of these goals by the end of 2022, but definitely working towards all of them is more so than anything. So lots to do this year, guys.
Yeah.
Lots to do. Oh, thanks, Andrea. I just happened to look over and said, "You'll get there, Kyle." Thank you. I appreciate it. So many comments.
I'll go ahead and jump in with one of my goals next. I would say probably the biggest thing for me this year is really just trying to give myself some grace as I work into these new braces, because it's very much been an up and down type thing. So I'm just hoping that I can continue to be patient, to make the most of this and not rush myself into it and hurt myself trying to make it work when it's not time for it to work just yet.
It's hard to wait. It's hard because
really
you just want to be there.
I've had them for 8 weeks, by the way. 8 weeks. Does not feel like that long, yet it feels like an eternity, because you spend several of those weeks like just trying different things, trying padding in a different place, trying different shoes, trying ankle supports with the braces, and it feels like no time at all, but it feels like forever at the same time. And I'm just hoping that in 2022 I can slowly and steadily start figuring that out a little bit more, and I'm sure it'll work out. But at this point, I'm just kind of like, people ask me about it, I'm like, hey, it's okay, it's going okay, it's not good, it's not bad, it's somewhere in the middle. I could use some more patience, but I've never been a very patient person, so it is what it is. I'm slowly getting used to them, and I know that the more I wear them, the more my body will get a chance to adjust. So
long process, but knowing you for as long as I have, you will come out the other side of all of this.
There is no option now. I'm certainly not going back to what I had before after getting braces that are more lightweight and just going to be better off for me in the long run. Like, this is not something where I'm going to say, well, don't want to do this anymore. That's not really how Kristina works. So I will figure it out.
Yeah, because I specifically asked you that, like, would you go back or do you want to go back? And you were like, nope.
No, there is only forward. Well, and sometimes it feels like, yes, that's right, Tucker. I don't know if y'all just heard Tucker meowing, but he was agreeing with me. Sometimes it does feel like, like a 1 step forward, 2 step back type situation, but we'll get there slowly but surely. And oh, you guys must have heard Tucker. Josh says hi, Tucker. Tucker says hi to all of our listeners.
Honorary third co-host.
Yes. Not that he would ever manage to sit here long enough for me to, get him on camera, because he is stubborn like most cats. But yeah, he's always here with us in the background, watching, listening, occasionally commenting. Andy says that it takes a while to break in new braces. Yes, it does, and I know that, but just with these being so different from what I had before, I think is what makes it difficult, because this is not the same brace as before in a stiffer, newer form. It's, something totally different. So,
And Jeff has a question for you
oh
about.
God, I was talking and I didn't
No,
even.
you're fine. That's why we're co-hosts. We can.
So, oh, freezing up a little bit on my end here. We'll see.
To record your walking distances.
Oh, okay. Froze for a minute there. I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not, but apps to record walking distances. So I have a Fitbit, wearing it right now. It's not really anything fancy. I can read text messages on it. I can't reply to them. But I have it set up for the 3 workouts that I use most. It is water proof. I can use it to track swims, walks, ellipticals, or just like regular aerobic workouts. And it'll give me the time, it'll give me the steps and the distance. Or you can just not do any of that, and throughout the day, while you have it on your wrist, it'll record the steps that you take. They're an investment, definitely, but this one has lasted me a long time. And I think knowing how much or how little you walk in a day can really, really help with setting those goals to be more active, because you can know that, okay, last month I had an average of X steps a day. Now I have an average of this many steps a day. Like, it's a really good sort of marker to see where you're at fitness wise if you're wanting to take that next step. Not that this is an ad for Fitbit, but it's kind of an ad for Fitbit, because mine has really helped me to realize, some weekends, like, I am sitting a lot and that I need to get up and, go get some steps in. So,
Well, speaking of, like, it helps keep you in check, I just happened to look at how many steps I had this week from Sunday to Saturday, because tomorrow starts the new week. And this was the most walked week that I've had since the week of September 19th.
ooh, holy cow.
And I was like, oh, dang. Like, whoa. It was just like, wow. So it was just a big wake-up call. And yesterday I hit 10 out of 10 hours of 250 steps per hour. And I was like, oh, that's never happened before. So it's like, oh, this is a good, that happened yesterday. Then I discovered that this week was the most walked week since the middle of September. So I'm like, oh, this is a good start.
That's really pretty awesome. And it's awesome that, your Fitbit could tell you that, so that it gives you a sense of accomplishment too.
Yeah. Well, I ended up scrolling back because, it gives you the counter by the end of your week, like what you're up to. And I was just like, oh, this is a pretty good number for me. Like, when's the last time I reached, close to this number?
Ah, gotcha.
And I scrolled back and I was like, kept scrolling. And it's like, oh, I see one. Oh, September 19th through the 26th or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's a long time ago.
Now, I love what Justin just shared, because this is one of my favorite quotes. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And then he says, notice it doesn't say focus on the number of steps, rather that each step is a part of your journey. And I think, speaking more broadly to each step that we take in this new year to be better is a part of that journey. We don't have to do it all right away. But just holding ourselves accountable to take those steps to be a better version of ourselves is, an important place to start to make sure that we reach those goals.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we forget to look at the bigger picture of things. Like, everything needs to happen right now, but it doesn't. Things can happen. It took me 11 years to get my driver's license, but I got it,
Right.
And there were points over those years where I was like, it's never going to happen. This is a goal that I'm never going to achieve. And then I did, but it just wasn't even when I even conceived. Like, yeah, in 11 years, I never would have thought. But here we are, like it's important to like zoom out and realize you have so much, we have to hope and believe that we have so much time ahead of us. Anything can happen because we aren't promised anything, but that, it's like I can achieve this down the road. And I have, it's a long-term goal. Not everything has to be within a week or 6 months, a year.
I will absolutely second that. And that's what I like about some of my other goals over the last couple of years, like fitness wise. I track steps, which then goes into miles, which then goes into a goal for the entire year. And for me, the bigger goals like that, okay, yeah, I'm not getting a pretty medal for this challenge till the end of 2022, but having that there is definitely a motivator to be consistent throughout the entire year and not just, slack off when I feel like it because I don't want to meet my goal. I mean, I've set this huge goal and I want to make sure that I'm taking the appropriate steps, every week to get there.
Because your goal for 2021 was 800 miles, 800 steps. 800 steps, you'd get that just walking from your car to the school entrance. But 800 miles, and you beat that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that I couldn't up my goal after I met it. Like it wouldn't let me keep tracking for the year, so I just tracked like on a piece of paper, and I think I ended up something more like 825 miles. So I put it to 1,000 right now, and I am behind because I got a nasty sinus infection last week and had a sinus headache for like several days and just laid in bed. So I've got some ground to make up, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily going to be over here hurting myself to make up that ground. I know that as I get feeling better, as I get out walking again, it will eventually even itself out, but it's also going to help me to make sure that I'm not just being lazy with it. Like I'm not going to be like, well, not going to make it now. It's only January 15th. I'm not going to give up on it that easily. So,
no, I think you will get, I think you'll actually do it, to be honest with you. Just because when you set your mind to something.
I mean, because my goal last year was 1,000, and then I had some back problems, and I knocked it to 700. Then I knocked it up to 750, then back down to 700. Then about like the last like quarter of the year, I was like, yeah, 800 is probably more doable. So I mean, if I don't do 1,000 miles, like okay, maybe 900. But I do think that it should be more than this past year because hopefully this year will be smoother. Just pain wise for me, and I'll be able to do a little bit more than what I've done in the last 365 days. But goals can always change. We have to be kind to ourselves too. As much as I love that 1,000-mile goal, if I'm going to hurt myself to get there, I'm not going to do it. We've got to know when to make appropriate adjustments to those goals for our safety and sanity too.
Yeah, because if you are actually stressing yourself out about a goal, it's not a healthy goal.
Exactly. Yeah, we've really got to keep that in mind. To again, like we said, making them measurable, making them reasonable, making them specific enough that we can actually take some steps to get there. If you say you want to be a better you, that's a great goal, but try to think about some of the specifics of that. How do you want to be a better you? What are you going to do to get there? The goals definitely don't reach themselves without some planning that goes behind it.
Yeah, because that was a big part of being a better me, has been realizing, okay, what does that mean? Well, that means not being afraid to speak my mind and let people know how I'm feeling. So we can all be on the same playing field of like, oh, everything's fine. Well, everything's not fine. And this is why. And I'm going to tell you, and we're going to work through it. And then we can be fine instead of pretending that everything is fine.
That everything's fine. Yeah, that's something I've really noticed in you over the last year or so, Kyle, that you're not afraid to like let people know. And you have this way of saying it to where it's not rude, but you're just not afraid to speak your mind. And I love it because I feel
Thank
like
you.
it was, I mean, I feel like knowing you for so long, that was always a struggle for you. And so to see you come out of that and just be able to be honest and, not let people get under your skin without letting them know it's great. I mean, it's great to be able to have that level of honesty.
Because I was really only hurting myself because then I was internalizing everything. And then it's like, you know, suffering in silence is no fun.
Totally agree.
Not at all. Oh, Lena has some goals that she has shared with us.
She says, my goals for this year, I'm working on some new adventures that I'll be experiencing new stuff in my life. Change is hard, but it's good because it shows you that you are moving forward.
Yeah, I think growth is difficult. I mean, becoming a better version of yourself is difficult because, you get pushed to things that you never experienced before. How do I handle it? I don't know what to do. But most of the time, if you're doing it with good intentions, you will get to a point where, looking back at the person you were 5 years ago, you're like, wow, I don't recognize that person. And I like this person better than that person. So I think it's really about intention with goals too. Like, why are you making this a goal?
Right.
Is it a goal
Because
for
it's a goal.
yourself or
Right.
is it for somebody else?
Oh, and you've got to be careful too about those goals for somebody else. Like, you should never change yourself for somebody else. Like, let's make sure we make that clear. Like,
Mm-hmm.
make yourself better, but do it for yourself too. Don't just do it
Yeah,
because
I don't think you should ever make a goal based off of what somebody else wants. You have to want it too. I actually learned that through a very simple goal. Christina and our friend Kevin love 5Ks, and I was like, "Yeah, I will start doing 5Ks." And then as I was going along, I realized, well, I want to do 5Ks because they're doing 5Ks, not because like I want to do it, but like I want to participate with them. So I was like, that's not a goal for me anymore.
right, you realize that it wasn't something for you, and I wasn't hurt by it. I was just like, okay, so you'll find something else that you enjoy. But I do think that it's good that you tried that because had you not tried it, how would you have known that you liked it or didn't like it?
Right. It's better to set a goal, start trying it, realize, this isn't for me, let it go, make a new goal, than to stay in a goal you're unhappy with.
Or to never try because like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't know what I was capable of, and maybe I will be capable of it down the road. That's just not a goal that's right now.
right.
So who knows? I think you have to be flexible with yourself in realizing I need to adjust when I need to adjust instead of being like, well, I'm on this path and this is the path I'm going to stay on.
Well, and I'll echo that. Just giving yourself a little bit of grace because there was a point in 2021 where I had a conversation with my physical therapist about how I needed to not be so hard on myself and not burn myself out, trying to do too much. But I was like, but this is a goal. This is something that I want to do. And we had this conversation where she's like, but do you need to do it right now? Is it stressing you out? Okay, it's stressing you out. Take it off your plate. Like, it's okay to do less sometimes. And at this point in the year when we're setting goals, it's hard sometimes. to come to terms with that, but we have to also realize how much we can handle and we don't have to take a goal away. That's not the right wording. It's
more like
really,
putting it on the back burner.
it's putting it on the back burner. It's realizing this goal isn't for me right now because I have something else that I need to focus on more. But that doesn't mean that when I'm not back to feeling better, hurting less, whatever the situation may be, I have more time. It doesn't mean at that point I can't pull that goal back out and give it another go.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Just checking out some of the comments because there are so many of them.
That makes a really great point. She says everyone's timeline is different, and that's okay. Yeah, it's hard to remember that, Andy, but everyone's timeline is absolutely different. And, we've got to remember to do what we can do, whether we have a disability or not. It's important to remember that we're human and we need to, go at our pace, and do the best we can. That's it.
Because I think everyone thinks it's a straight line, too. Like, I start here, I walk straight line to there. But you have to be willing to take go along the curves, right, left, backwards a little bit, forwards. I mean, it's not a straight line.
It's not as much of a linear process as we would like it to be, but that's life, things don't always go as planned.
Oh, Jeff has a goal as well. He has for this year.
He says, goal I have for the next year or two is to put my book together. A friend has set up the document for me. Oh my gosh, that is super cool. That's something we didn't know about you before today. We didn't realize you were working on a book.
Yes, please. Let me know when it's finished because I'll read it.
I mean, it's really awesome. One, that you realize that you wanted to do that, but two, to actually have that set up and be able to start it is great. That'll give you a chance to really jump in and start working towards that goal. So you'll have to keep it updated.
And every goal has a starting point. Like, you have to start somewhere. And starting actually is the hardest part.
Yeah, I
feel like everyone, that's so cliche because so many people say it, but
it's so true. Like, sometimes
coming up with a goal idea is easy. But
following through.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part, to follow through,
Yeah, I want to start exercising. Okay, I need to get on that treadmill. It's a lot harder to put into action than it is to put into words. So keep going, Jeff.
Justin says moving in a positive direction is what matters. Absolutely. Cindy says, what is a straight line? LOL. I would be in trouble if I had to walk a straight line. Well, amen, Cindy. Amen. Couldn't agree more.
Oh, I love Lena's comment here. Always be yourself and show that you are unique. I mean, set your goals for yourself, like we said before, and no one else. And the people who know you and love you will appreciate you and help you along the way.
Most definitely.
Oh, I love that. Josh, that's deep. I don't know which one you're referring to, but there have been a lot of good comments this show. And thank you guys again to everyone up here commenting and listening or watching to us on Facebook and Disability Global Broadcast, because we are nothing without you guys. Without you guys, we're just two people that like to talk. So
yeah, essentially it is what it is. And if we're a little rusty today because we took a month off, sorry, but we haven't done this in a while. So
I feel like this is really good energy for our first show back.
Definitely. I mean, I really just love the positive vibes that this whole show is giving off. People setting their goals. Like, those are the kinds of things that we hope for everybody in the new year. We hope that everybody can set some goals and start with a positive outlook. And we're, wishing everybody nothing but success in this new year, especially after the craziness of the last couple of years and some of the difficulties that people have gone through. I think it's really important to focus on those positives.
You know what I would think would be fun and cool is like we do like check-ins every once in a while of like, how are we all doing? Like this is our first, like this is where we set our goals, and then in a few months be like, hey, if you're, how are things going?
We might have to do that. We might have to have a show in, I don't know, February, March, and have everybody come up on here and tell us, where their progress is going. So
I don't know, just as like a check-in, and then if we do it in March, do it in July. I don't know. I just think it might be interesting. That's up to the audience, but I just think it would be really cool if we just,
I think it's important to have sometimes somebody else to hold you accountable to and ask you about those goals. Because I think it can kind of help keep us in check and make sure we're working towards the things that we said we wanted to work for. I know it has helped me in some of my fitness goals and things to have people like Kyle sitting on my porch and cheering for me as I go, as I finish the rest of a 5K or, just that having that support system, that encouragement is important when you're working towards a goal that might be big and scary and difficult.
That was a good day. Even though I didn't finish that 5K, that was a good day.
It was fun to be together again. I mean, that was kind of COVID, if I remember. Like, you didn't even come in the house. We all just met at my house.
Yeah, that was just like, we're all here. Like, let's see what we got. And it ended up being a really good day. And you know what? That's what I'm realizing too, is even when you're struggling, you do tend to remember the good times more than the bad times. It's really hard when you're going through it, but like looking back on things, it's like, yeah, I didn't walk that 5K like I wanted to, but I still had a good day that day, So like at the time I was beating myself up about it because I didn't reach that goal that I had set for that day. But now I'm like, not meeting that goal that day isn't actually what matters. It's like, oh, that was a fun day. Like, so I don't know. Does anyone else have? Oh, Cindy says that's a great idea. Thanks, Cindy.
Well, we'll have to have ourselves a little goal check-in then. We're not telling you all when it's going to be, so make sure you're working on those goals because we're going to hold you accountable.
Yes.
No,
oh, what does Jeff say here?
Jeff says, excellent point, Kyle. Life is not about being a people pleaser. The goals we set should be goals that we want to achieve, not those that others. And then it trails off. But I mean, yeah, I totally get the point there, Jeff. Making goals for yourself and not making goals for other people is definitely important. Not those that others want of us. Definitely. Yep, our own goals.
And Justin also says perspective is important. And sometimes that's why it's good to tell people your goals, because if you start talking about your goals and like maybe the struggles you're having or the successes, but they can give you another side that you don't see, because sometimes your vision gets very narrow in the thick of things.
Very much so. Yeah, tunnel vision. I mean, like me, for a while there with all my challenges, I was like, I'm working on this and I'm working on this and I'm working on this. And it took somebody else to be like, hey, Kristina, how about you take something else off your plate and give yourself one goal instead of, 15? Like, it takes sometimes that outside perspective to be like, girl, get yourself together.
Like, stop it. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Like the slap you in the face, but not actually slapping in the face, like Kristina.
A figurative slap in the face. Like,
right. Okay.
Listen up.
Yeah. I mean,
And see, that always makes me think back to when you got me that the Wii Fit board.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
like you can do it subtly too. Like, I was just like, hey, I see things are going a bit astray here. Like, let me help bring you back. Uh,
I can remember getting that for you and thinking, oh my gosh, is he going to hate me? He's going to think that I'm like taking a stab at him. Like, I mean, but yeah, the backstory, I saw Kyle really struggling with his fitness and just his mental health in general. And so I had him over to my house, and I always had the Wii Fit hooked up because at the time I think it was winter, and that's one of my winter exercise tools. So for Christmas or his birthday or something, I got him a Wii Fit board, and I remember him telling me that was kind of a start to his fitness journey. And
yeah, it was because it was like, oh, this is fun. I could do like, how else can I challenge myself? But
right,
and she never said anything to me directly about why she got that um, Wii Fit board till like way later. She was
right.
like, yeah, I got you that on purpose because I was like worried about you, and I'm kind of glad she waited because then it was like, oh, like, yeah, you're right. I was kind of in a bad, like, because it gave me perspective to look back on it as that of like, oh, you know,
Realizing that you were kind of in a, maybe not so great place for yourself, but I didn't want to tell you that and put you down.
right,
That's not what Christina does. But yet Christina was over here very concerned for my best friend.
right, right. So sometimes you can do it very, sneakily, but like with the best of intentions, and a lot of things are about intentions and keeping that positivity. That's how you reach goals, in my opinion.
yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna echo that.
Do
Couldn't
you have,
agree.
have we talked about everything that you are set out to accomplish? You are going to get your master's done this year.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's the other elephant in the room. Yeah, I'm working on a thesis, y'all, but sometimes I don't even want to think about that. Like, it's gonna get done, but sometimes it's just like, oh man, this thesis. Ugh.
Yeah,
That will be done. I am defending in June, so it will be done in June no matter what, because I'm not putting up with it any longer than that. After teaching in a pandemic, working on the thesis in a pandemic, and just not, you know, I feel like I've lost out on a lot of free time and a lot of things that I wanted to do in these last couple of years while working on that thesis. So, yes, a big goal is to get that out of the way. Give myself that relief of not having to sit there for 3 hours every day doing thesis work.
well, I just realized it's already 3:57.
So
Like
I think
this.
that about wraps it up. You got any more goals you want to share, Kyle?
No, I think I've said everything that I have in my head as of this moment. But at our check-in, if I add any goals, I will let you know. Um, what is? I feel like this might be a really good comment to end on with Justin here.
Justin says, one person can't see everything, but when we stand together, the picture becomes a panoramic view of life and experiences.
You're
Wow.
you're very poetic, Justin.
I
Like
really feel
like
so poetic today.
very
Like,
like philosophical.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, when we stand together, when we work together to help each other be successful, we can meet those goals. So let's, make sure that we're helping keep each other accountable and encouraging each other for the best 2022 that we can possibly have.
yes. Let's all step forward into 2022 with the best of hopes, and like we are here to support you, and bring it on.
Jeff says we got to have that check-in by June, Christina. Oh,
Oh, we will.
you'll be hearing about my thesis long before I'm defending in June. I will keep you all posted. So,
Yes. Again, thank you all for being here with us on our first show of 2022, watching on Facebook Live and listening on Disability Global Broadcast. We really appreciate you. Our plan is to be back in 2 weeks on January 29th, but if life happens, we will let you know. But we look forward to seeing you next time.
all right.
And
Remember, guys,
let's keep on living
laughing
and succeeding.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Blessings, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.